G'day YouTube, Turbo Tristan here again. In today's episode, you're going to see the progress on the bodywork of the GTR Killer Civic. I made a really embarrassing mistake with the bog, the body filler. I went crazy, I mixed up a big lump of it, I poured in a heap of hardener, and as you'll see in the video, before I even managed to try and smear any of it on the bonnet of the car, it was already dry. So it was at that point that I realized that I stuffed up. So the thing with bodywork, the thing with paint even, is if you stuff it up, you can just sand it back and start again. The lesson there is patience and also preparation. If you don't have either of those two things, you're just going to keep having to sand and sand and sand and get more and more frustrated, and that's exactly what happened to me. So my back's aching, my hands are sore, my fingertips look like prunes because I've been in and out of a bucket of water all weekend wet sanding. Since I last left you, I promised I wouldn't show you any more videos of me sanding. So the first lot of sanding's all done. Clear coat's gone off the car, which shows me all the high spots, all the low spots, where I need to put the bog or Bondo or Nicky or body filler on the car, and where I don't. So all in all, I was pretty happy with the car. Being almost 20 years old, very happy with the bodywork on this car. It was a genuine one-owner vehicle, but I believe that at some stage, I think the father-in-law or the dad had a crack at fixing a couple of spots and some blemishes in the clear coat. So there was a few patches that were pretty hard to deal with, being that there was 2 to 3 different lots of clear, 2 to 3 different lots of paint, 2-pack acrylic, 2-pack clear, acrylic clear. So it did take a lot of hard work. All right, so we're just going to take a look at the bonnet now. We'll start from there and walk around the car. So you can see from the bonnet, some high spots here where it's gone through to bare metal. We need to fill there, a couple of small stone chips here, but very minimal. So this car never really left town. It was just driven around to the shops, I reckon. One dent, one stone chip, so that's pretty good. All these creases and corners here, it's not peppered with stone chips as you would expect from a vehicle that's this age, 1998 model / 99 complied. So there's a few stone chips there, so it's going to get some bog there, a smear of bog across the bonnet. When I flash back and show you where I've bogged it, it's going to look really bad, like I've covered the whole car in bog, but it's going to be, you know, less than a millimetre thick in some spots. It's just a necessity, and then we sand that back once it's dried. But fill there, there, stone chips here. You can see on the fenders or the guards where I rolled them with the hammer. Few very, very small low patches, but once I wipe that with the bog, you're never going to know. It looks worse than it is, but it's only going to be 1 or 2 millimeters at absolute most, probably less than a millimeter, 90% of it worth of bog, so that's good. So if you look down the side of this door, you'll see there's a few shiny patches just here. Very minor there. There's a chop in the door over there, so that's a crease. It's only a couple of millimeters deep, so we're just going to fill that with some body filler, stone chip. This is the side that everyone opens their door into and bangs in the car park, because when you're parking your car, you make sure there's enough room for yourself to get out, but then on the other side, the other driver from the other car who doesn't care bangs his door into yours and causes these chops here. So about 5 or 6 on this side, on this door. A little crease there where someone's leaned on it. This is obviously where they got the kids in and out. And here is the couple of very minor low spots where I need to fill that with bog, where I hand flared the guards. Another one there. I've decided that I am going to use the genuine rear bumper. It's been given the sand. There was one chip there. This was the side that had the scrape on it, so that's sanded back down to the plastic. So that's going to get filled. Again, it's not even a millimetre deep. It looks a lot worse than it is. And this bumper just fits as it's supposed to from the factory. So I'm going to use that one. You live and you learn. I jumped the gun on the aftermarket bumper there. Back around to the driver's side. Not really much on this side, to be honest. Really happy with that. Just where I bashed the guards out. This one though, that was already there. But again, less than a millimetre smear of bog should fix that. Rear passenger door was absolutely perfect. And the driver's door, just a couple of really small ones. There's one, just there. Little chip there where the seatbelt's probably been jammed in the door. There's a little baby spot there. Little bang there. But overall, really happy with it. I decided to put the guards on the car just so when I'm sanding and bogging and all of that, it's just a lot easier to work with. That way I won't bend them anymore if they're on a sawhorse or something like that. So just a lot easier to sand the car. I felt, so that's what I did. So I went down to my local Super Cheap, picked up this SCA branded body filler, and it was the cheapest, nastiest one that I could find. However, on closer inspection, I read the address and who imports it into the country and where it was produced, and it's actually produced in the same place as the other more expensive brand. So I figured it was just a rebranded version of the same thing. So there's a pro tip for everyone. Make sure you have a look on the back when you're purchasing your different even foods or body fillers or parts or anything like that. Just check where it's packaged, where it's produced and who imports it and where it's from. You'll probably find it's from the same place. And this stuff's the hardener, just bang a bit of that in there. So as you've just seen, the first attempt with the body filler was an absolute fail. I haven't done this for many years, but I was very confident going in and my ambition far exceeded my actual skills. So here's a few of the fails. At the end of the day, if you stuff it up, you just got to sand it. And, you know, so it's your own fault and your own hard work that you have to keep putting in. So that was my stuff up. There's the result. And yeah, back down to Super Cheap to get some more because I totally ruined that whole tub. But I'm very happy with the end result. Everything is smoothed out. There's hardly any bog on the car. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It was just a whole weekend and 2 afternoons of sanding. So I'm just going to take you around now and show you what I've done. So let's take a walk around. So the bonnet, plenty of sanding going on there. A spot just on the front there where there was a low patch, a bit of a dent, but that's all been filled. That's probably the most bog on the whole car. It might be in its deepest spot, maybe 2 millimeters deep. I smoothed out the guards, so there's no wrinkles or ripples in those anymore. So that was a success. I've decided what I'm going to do under here is run no guard liners, but I'll make a piece of something, I don't know what yet, to put in there so rocks and things don't flick up inside my doors. And I'll probably put a lot of sound deadening on there just to stop any road noise because, you know, I'm an old man now and that stuff's annoying. More news, if I didn't already mention it, is the new coilovers are here. I'm going to leave those till a bit later, till after the bodywork's done, because I need to replace the CV boots, the steering rack boots, the coilovers, and the brake rotors and pads. So I'll be ordering everything I don't have. I've already got the steering rack boots and the coilovers, so I'm debating whether or not to get new CVs. I don't know if I can use those in my K-swap if I buy new ones of this, so I'm probably not going to do that. Just I don't want to waste money. So I'll probably just band-aid some new boots on there. Down the side of the car, a couple of little spots here, here and here where I've filled that. The rear guards are all nice and smooth too. They're not 100%, nothing on the car's 100%. Nothing on the car is 100%, but it's as good as I can get it, and I'm very happy with my progress, so hopefully it turns out all right when I get some paint on there. So as I mentioned, I wanted to use the OEM rear bumper bar, so here it is all patched up. So it's actually really smooth. I managed to fill the little holes up here. And yeah, that's going to come out good as new once I get some paint on that. There was another little nick just here. All of the boot lid is smoothed out, all the clear coat's off that. The boot lid was an absolute mission because being that it was a different colour off a different car, it had a different amount of clear coat on it, had a different kind of clear coat, so it was very hard to get off, and it was just a nightmare. That probably took me almost the longest out of everything. That was a good 4 or 5 hours just on that one panel, so that actually really sucked. Down the passenger side of the car, again, all smooth, little dimple there and there, but they're all good now. There's another one just there, seemed to be a theme. And then this is the door that had a little ripple on it. I do need to do a little bit extra here. There's still a low spot just there, but you know, I'll put a little bit more bog in that, and then that will be sweet. So one thing I learned while sanding all weekend and getting covered in dust was you get a lot of time to think. You get a lot of time with your thoughts. And one thing that I thought of was, why is it that guys like to take old pieces of junk like this, spend all their time, effort, and weekends just devoted to these old pieces of junk, hoping that they're not going to be pieces of junk when we finish with them? And that got me thinking that women aren't too different. They go and find the biggest piece of junk they can, date them, try and change them, spend all their time complaining and trying to change them into not pieces of junk, and then marry them and hope that they don't turn into piece of junk husbands or piece of junk fathers. And yeah, I just thought that was a funny coincidence that we both, men and women, like to do similar things. Find some old piece of junk and try and make it not a piece of junk. I've been thinking what I want to do with this channel is maybe make it more about life, politics, friends, family, as well as cars, because that's never going to go away. We're always going to come here and work on cars. But I'd like, you know, to do a car channel, a build channel, but also, you know, guys' topics, people's topics, and just discuss, you know, current events, things that are going on in people's lives, and also, you know, try and make jokes out of things. So if there's something that you want me to make a joke out of, or something that you want my opinion on, you'd like me to comment on, let me know in the comments what you think. Is it a good idea, or should I just stick to talking about cars? Should I just shut up and keep building this piece of junk behind me and hopefully turn it into a GTR killer? Let me know what you think. Until next time, take it easy.